welcome to the Sanctuary, a safe space to speak from the heart. I'm your host, Israel, and my guest today is Sizwe Ndlovu, the Chief Technical Officer of Pineapple in South Africa. Thanks for coming to the Sanctuary today.
Thanks for having me, Israel. Very excited to be a part of this.
Yeah, so I subscribe to Tech Cabal, and I saw your interview. I was like, okay, I need to find out more about this guy. I check your LinkedIn. It's like super interesting, and then I reached out to you. I'm really grateful you said you'd be able to come on. So what does you keep hearing with all these tech companies as chief technical officer? What exactly does a chief technical officer do in a tech company?
Yeah, man. I think first and foremost, I think just as people, we shouldn't kind of be too hype on the titles. The titles always just make us think, like it's elsewhere, as opposed to, we generally obsess about that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying? Because we're looking for heroes in this life. So, ish, yeah, I have some type of feelings about that. But to answer your question, yeah, CTO. Basically, as I said in that interview, I just keep the computers running, man. I keep the lights on. I keep the servers running. I make sure nothing crashes. So yeah, that's my job, basically explained to like dummies.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember you saying that, and I'm curious, right? Like, was computers something you've always loved, or how did you get into studying and working on computers?
No, I always did love computers. So it actually started with, I remember as a kid, I I was very fascinated, first because I've got quite a strong creative side. There's a lot of creative things that I just like in general. As a child, I used to look at billboards and logos and things, and I used to ask myself, like, how did they actually design these things? Given my limited knowledge of software that was available on computers at the time, um, I used to compare, like, your McDonald's logos and all these mainstream logos, and I would think, do they use like Microsoft Word to create these things? Like word art, I don't know if you remember the word art thing, yeah. But I
Right.
used to try and recreate a lot of these
Yes,
logos on
yes,
like
what
Word. Yeah, I used to try and recreate a lot of these logos on word art. Obviously, that never worked, but that's where the fascination for like technology started. Um, I was using
mm,
my dad's laptop because he had one with his job. And then from there, it went from graphic design to websites. And then I was like, how do they make websites? And I started teaching myself how to make websites at the age of like 10, 11, using Microsoft Front Page. And I was like, I'm going to add a logo to a website. And I used to do that. And it just looked like terrible. But it was still like a fascination of mine. And from there, from there, it just carried on. When I was 12 years old, I was also taking computers studies at school as well. And then we were taught how to like give instructions to this thing. I think it was an app called Specs, and you have to give instructions. It moves like left, right, whatever. So it was like entry level, like basic programming. And then from there, there was this other thing called the Game Maker, where you could make a game basically with like sprites. And my graphic design interest at the time, I used to download these sprite sheets basically, which is essentially like different pictures of a moving uh, a character in the game, and I manually would cut them up and I'd create a game there, and I did that at the computers at school. And I remember that I tried installing that same application on my father's laptop, but it wouldn't work. But it still didn't stop me
mm.
from creating a game, and I created like a 10 level game. Like it was the
Wow.
biggest. Yeah, I went all in for this game, but it couldn't run, so I never knew how the game ran. But I created this game that was like
Mm,
10 levels deep and everything, but I didn't ever get to run it.
wow.
I'm very sad about that. And then yeah, that was like from primary school. Then high school, I think I did IT. It was the subject I most excelled in. It was at my highest mark when I finished high school, and then I studied computer science in Cape Town at the University of Cape Town. And then yeah, that's where everything started. So now I'm here.
S- coding is something, I mean, like, coding is something that for most people is a little bit scary. What do you enjoy about, like, do you enjoy it, and if you do, what do you enjoy about it?
I definitely enjoy coding. I I like problem solving in general. I like
Mm,
applying my mind and critically thinking, and I'm always trying to develop that. Um, I always want to become better. I'm just a naturally curious person, um, and
mm,
what I really enjoy about having the ability to code, and that, and I'd recommend why everyone, I mean, it's not easy, obviously, picking it up, but I mean, if you definitely want to learn how to code, go that direction. It is for the simple fact that you can literally think of anything and just make it, which I think is it's
mm.
like that's amazing. The fact that you can just whatever idea you have, you can just manifest it, and there it exists. Like it went from a
Yeah.
thought to an actual thing. And I think that's our advantage over accountants, over um, a lot of other academic fields. The fact that we can just create the thing out of our heads. Like, I think, yeah, programming, for me, that's the
Mm.
most beautiful thing. Like, I can sit and think of an idea. We're like, wait, man, how would this actually look? And I can just go and create it. So I love that. I love it.
Do you still do anything creative, like, on the side?
It's very tough these days. It's quite tough, but I mean, look, for all intents and purposes, I'd rather say no because I don't think there's anything that I do like still on a frequent, um as on a creative basis like that. Um, but I definitely have a lot of
Mm.
interest on that side of the world. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm still passionate about graphic design and UX and stuff, etc. But I don't formally do those things. Yeah, and then I did a couple of
Mm.
things in my
Mm.
past, which yeah.
So, like, how was it in Cape Town though? Why did you decide to go to Cape Town to study? And how was the time you were in Cape Town?
So actually, so when I grew up, I mean, I grew up all over South Africa. I was born in KZN in KwaZulu Natal. Then I actually moved to Cape Town. I spent my adolescent years there. Then my teenage years I spent in Port Elizabeth and Pretoria. Then obviously I moved back to Cape Town after high school. Um, for me, it was like I was going back to where I'd grown up. So I saw a lot of friends of mine from in primary school, reconnected with a lot of them. It was really nice. I was even being in the city. There was all these familiar things from when I grew up there. And then also just a general reputation that University of Cape Town has, being like the top university in the continent. It was like a good move in the right direction. Also for computer science, the computer science department is excellent. So and it carries like a good reputation if you have that credential. So that was a big motivator. Um, and yeah, man, like yeah, that kind of informed the choice really.
Also, Cape Town is super beautiful too, if you ask me.
It is. It's a very beautiful city, man. The mountain. I was there like last month, man. Like there's it, and it's evolved so much from when I was last there. But it's so nice. Like there's so much to do there. So many
Hmm.
restaurants and lifestyle options. If you want to just go to the beach, if you want to, go to a bar and drink, if you want to have dinner, there's so much to do. So yeah, it's a really nice place. Yeah.
I really love Cape Town. Um, one thing that really stood out was that you were doing a lot of mentoring while you were studying and just before you actually start working. Why was mentoring important to you?
So that's something I'm very passionate about. I'm just passionate about just like general upskilling of people. I also exercise it in my job. I make it a point to just really accelerate and develop people like extremely quickly because that impact that it just has on the country actually. Like if more people are kind of upskilled and really know their worth and their abilities, they can actually do a lot for the country and its economy.
Mm,
And because that's how I felt about myself. Like I remember when I was getting into the coding stuff, um, while I was still studying in university, prior to actually um, doing an internship, I was just like in my head, I was just learning code for the sake of it. I never actually believed that I could create anything until I started
mm,
this internship. And the internship, obviously, they asked us to create a new product. And it was myself and my another intern who I was studying with, and we created something. And I was like, wow, I actually made something from nothing. Then
mm,
at that point, I was like, well, I'm sure I can do so much more. And I feel like a lot of people um, don't feel like that. They will. A lot of people come from the place where I came from, and I see that quite often.
mm,
But I feel like once that hurdle is unlocked, and if imagine you could realize that if you were like 10 years old, you know, I know, like, yeah, like there's a great deal of like psychological things that one goes through that stops them from realizing their potential. So that's why I'm very
mm,
passionate about like mentoring, and like the more I learn, the more I want to impart on people like very quickly, because yeah,
mm,
like you can imagine how many more entrepreneurs we'll have in the country, how many more it just means better for us as consumers, and just the country as a whole. Like it's so dope,
mm.
man. Like I think everyone needs to like up ramp people very quickly and just stop being selfish with all the knowledge and stuff that they're sitting on. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's matter of fact. But like when it comes to your mentorship, how do you approach it then?
As best as possible, I try and almost like get to a point of relation with the said individuals or etc. that I'm working with. Um, at work, um, one thing that's very important, I tell everyone prior to even if they like start working with me, well, it's actually at work and also not at work. But what's very important is that you need to have a vision for yourself. So you need to
Mm,
want to become something somewhere down the line. So I mean, I'll always ask you, so what 5, 10 years from now, where do you want to be? What do you want to do? And
mm,
for me, it's important to know that you're trying to go somewhere so that I can help you get there. Because that's when you
mm.
also accept that you need growth to do, and that's
Yeah.
when you'll flourish. That's how I also know that you will also work towards becoming a better whatever you want to be, developer, or you know then our things are aligned now. Like both of us are
Mm,
now working towards the same place. So the likelihood of us fighting or anything is down. Now it's all like we both have the same place we're both trying to go to, we're trying to get you to. So let's work towards getting you there.
mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a great approach. I love that. Did you have any mentors, before while you're on your while you're beginning your journey?
So I didn't, and that for me is the very unfortunate thing. So I
Mm,
feel like if there was someone who was there who could have told me nice and early, a lot of these things, because I learned a lot of these things late in life. I feel like a lot of people who I was with, like during the journey, even from like being a student, etc., they were well exposed to these things because maybe they had mentors or I don't know, some sort of like, uh, head start in this thing. Um, and I'm trying to give people head starts now because I think
mm,
once like if that happens on like a mass scale, we'll literally have a different country. I don't think
mm.
people realize, man, the type of stuff that we have like going on, you know.
Okay, so let's continue that journey. You finished Cape Town and you did this internship. What was your next step and things that led you to Pineapple?
Cool. So Cape Town, I was studying there. I finished, um, but I had a friend over there, one of my really good friends. She was studying marketing and she entered a competition there, the multinational wine and spirits company. Um, and we entered this marketing competition. I was the tech guy, and then we had a finance person as well, another friend of ours. And then we won the South African leg. And then it was like, oh, okay, that's nice.
Wow.
Let's see what happens from here. And then they flew us to Paris for the international leg, and we competed with all these other countries in Europe, the EMEA region, Europe, Middle East, Africa. But it was mostly European countries and then South Africa. And obviously for us, we really like we took this as for the opportunity that it was. We were like, guys, we're not gonna play around here. We want to win this thing because it's gonna mean a lot to all of us.
Right.
And yeah, man, and we went there, gave it our all, and we won the competition with
Dope.
Russia. Yeah, so that then won us internships with the company in and around Europe. So I moved to Paris and I did an internship there at the innovation group, the internal innovation group they had, and then my friend moved to Dublin, where she's still based. But now, well, actually, yeah, she's still based there. Yeah, but now she's also doing great things, man. Like it's crazy. But it was so dope. Like I think that launch pad obviously to moving and getting the international experience was really crazy.
Mm.
So I spent a year in Paris. I became so French, bro. I was like French, bro. I was like French, like
Did you have to
I
learn to
was
speak French?
well, you can't get by with English there. Like it serves you no purpose. So it was really difficult because I didn't get lessons or anything. For me, I just reached about 3 months in. I reached a point of frustration. I was like, I'm angry. I'm upset that I cannot do anything in the city. I'm in one of the dopest cities in the world, and I cannot do anything. I can't even buy vegetables, bro. Like you go to the till, they don't have pictures of the vegetable. They have the names. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm buying here. It was so frustrating.
Oh my
It
god,
was
that's funny.
it was the most frustrating experience. And I got so mad. Then I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna learn this damn language.
Yeah.
And I just went to iTunes and I downloaded this podcast of learning French. And I was just like, I had a whole algorithm. I was like, I need to know how to I need to learn my tenses. I need to learn how to say things in the past, present, future. I need to know how to ask and all these like the constructs of the language. And then once I had that down, it was just a matter of learning the actual words. Like what does this mean?
Mm.
What does this mean? Within 3 months, I was fine.
Oh, nice.
But
Wow.
it was the toughest 3 months of my life. But yeah, I made that hurdle. After that, like my last 6 months, I was quite comfortable, and even now, I feel still quite comfortable. I can go back and I'll be good.
Wow. Wow. So, what did you do after that internship?
Yeah, so I actually moved back to South Africa. I had this whole plan. I was just like, yo, I'm gonna start my own thing now. I even had this whole app that I'd been busy on the side. It's kind of like what Slack is today, but like a more
Oh.
public Slack. Yeah, but it wasn't necessarily like meant for corporate. It was like I was trying to do another social network, which is a bad idea. Do not do that. No one's
Why is
moving
it a
from
bad
Facebook
idea?
because no one's gonna move from Facebook or Twitter. Everyone's accustomed to that.
Right,
Now you're
right,
trying to
right,
take them off that. Yeah, good luck. So I moved back to South Africa, and I was just like, okay, because I had a really good, earnest conversation with my boss, um, where I was working in France. Such a cool. Well, my two bosses actually. This one lady and this other guy, really cool people, man. They like really mentored me and really helped me like catch the ropes in when I was in Paris. And I
Mm,
told them, my deepest desires. I was like, yo, man, like I've learned so much here. I want to go back to my country and like start doing more exciting things. And they were like, Sizwe, we support you, whatever, whatever. And then
mm,
I came back to South Africa. I moved back home to my mom in Port Elizabeth because she lives there. And I spent 2 years there. I had this idea. I was like, I'm gonna freelance on the side, and then I'm gonna use that capital to then push this thing. But then obviously business was a lot tougher because I had actually left France. So then I was just like, okay, you know what? Maybe I need to just get a job. And then I applied for a job and I got one in Johannesburg and I moved here 2017. And I was living in Braamfontein in Joburg CBD. And I was working in Pretoria. So I used to
Oh
do a
wow,
commute.
that's a
Yeah, it
crazy
was just
drive every day.
well, I didn't drive. I took the train, but
The
yeah,
train, the how train.
yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
cow train. Yes, I took the cow train, but it was a crazy commute. You're right. Like, oof, it was such a like it was like, yo, it's a very long way. Um, but funny enough, that's actually how I met the guys at Pineapple on one of these trips on the train. They were there, I was there, and the one guy, Nda, I knew him from university. We weren't friends. It's just like we just knew each other because we were studying two completely different things.
Hmm.
Um, and bumped into each other on the train. I saw him there with the two co-founders, and it was just like, hey man, catching up, whatever, whatever. Had a little tech talk, talking, nerdy stuff between us and whatever, whatever. And then they were like, yo man, you should join the team, man. And I was like, yo guys, I'd love to. It's just that I'm I have a job right now, so maybe let's see how things go in future in this chat. Cool, man. And then that was around June, and then December, yeah, like I had a chat with my boss at the time. We're like, yo, man, dude, nothing's working over here. Let's cut our losses because he was also trying to start like his a thing, and I was trying to help him, but it just wasn't working out. And I was like, okay, cool, man. Let me look for something else. And I started applying for jobs. And then I remember, hey, man, these guys are pineapple want to chat. And then went back, had a conversation. And yeah, man, then I joined. I was the first employee
Wow.
number one. That's my bragging rights there. And and then yeah, beginning of February 2018, I joined Pineapple. But I wasn't a CTO then. I was just like a developer. And then yeah, I
Wow.
worked my way up the ranks.
So I guess like I mean, apart from you knew the guy, what attracted you to pineapple?
So the first main thing from my own in terms of what I was looking for, because I was now living in the province of Gauteng, right? Well, in Johannesburg, finance runs the city. Like, even a lot of my friends they like working investment banking, like consulting for companies, and et cetera, et cetera. So very finance focused. So I told myself that I want to work within the finance space. I want to get into something that's financially related.
Mm,
Um, I didn't know that insurance and finance, like by book definition, or like well, at its like first principles, are actually two different things. But still, they're both in the financial services.
mm,
And that's when that was one motivator. I was like, okay, here's a company in the financial services, but in addition, it's not a corporate, it's a startup, And I want to work in startups. Like that was my thing. I was like, I want to help. I want to gain that experience in building something and seeing it become something one day. But then also, um, the actual way that pineapple works, like the model itself, was very intriguing to me. Um, and the idea of building that, I think, was like an amazing challenge. I was just like, yo, this is definitely something that I want to be associated with and involved, because I generally believe, in the premise and the ability of the company, and what what we can do for the insurance industry as a whole.
mm,
um, and yeah, man, it was very exciting. And yeah, I was just to think about the things that um, pineapple could do in terms of the industry itself, but also like internally, like with the stuff that we get, the upskilling we do, the changing, like corporate culture, I guess, like one day, like in the future, just how businesses move and work, just kind of reinventing that, or that whole thing just excites me. So
mm.
um
So what
yeah.
is pineapple?
So pineapple is an app that you well, that's our primary way of business. It's an app that you can download to your iOS or Android device. Currently, we're only in South Africa. Um, well, there is also America, but it's more of a B2B thing that we
Oh,
currently have going on over there, which I can speak to later. It's a mobile app that you download to your device, and you use it to insure anything that's close to you. So the two current products that we offer are all risk. which is basically anything that moves. So your cell phone, your glasses, your Apple Watch, your laptop, anything that moves with you generally. Okay, except for a couple of items, except for artwork. Okay, artwork wouldn't necessarily move with you. I don't think it would. But yeah, for the most part, anything that you can just kind of travel with. And then we also like to insure your motor vehicle. So you can get coverage on your car, also via the app as well. And we also have a website where you can also get coverage on your car as well. So you can sign to the Pineapple app and get cover on your vehicle.
Mm.
And it's basically as easy as taking a picture of the item, and we have some AI at the back that looks at the picture and determines what is it that we've taken a picture of here, and it asks you to confirm: is this a watch? Is this your glasses? Or is this a phone? And if you say yes, then we can price you very quickly. You just add the name and price of the item, and we give you back a price. And if the item was miscategorized, you could just say no and categorize it correctly. If you're happy with the price, you just say add to your basket. You can add more items if you want, or you can just proceed with that item. Continue, fill in your details, fill in the bank details, and you're covered instantly.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, you can get covered like in 90 seconds, literally.
Mm. You know, I wish there was something like that when I was in Cape Town, cuz like cell phones are like you got to insure your cell phones. It's just nowhere like you got I mean, it's not about someone picking it up or being hijacked or whatever. You can just drop it somewhere, you know. I remember one time I was like in a parking lot. I went to pay my ticket but like I had my hands full, so I had to drop my phone on top of the thing, paid the ticket, and I left. But I left my phone on top, you know. So yeah,
And
yeah.
that phone
So
was
like,
gone, my friend.
right, right, right. So like, insuring cell phones is important. I saw it and I was like, wow, this is brilliant because it's a whole thing. You know, you have to like call someone and then wait on the phone and then listen to this silly music and then someone will tell you and oh man, it's a process. So like from here you snap it and you just get through to it. And like it's monthly, right? I guess like your the premiums.
Yeah, every month, just, I mean, yeah, you know what you're paying, so yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. And how long have you been here now?
Pineapple was launched July 2018.
Yeah. Oh, I watch. Man, your marketing department is insane. I love the ad, the what shit happens ad. You know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, so my CMO, she's on fire, Nicole. She's really, really good. All those ads you see, it's because of her. Yeah, she's on
Yo,
point.
yo, yo. I should reach out to her because I'm like curious. Like, you know, my thing, I love commercials, but lately they're like trash ones. But when you see a good commercial, it's like, oh my God, people really sat down and thought about this. And it's like, you see that and you know right away what what this thing is a solution for, you know?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And also, one thing I neglected to mention, actually, the primary, what do you call it, the claim to fame of Pineapple. Essentially, what we do is we try and introduce the aspect of community back into insurance, which is obviously what insurance was at the beginning. People would come together to protect themselves. So it's very similar to like what is called in South Africa stockfiles. I'm not sure if you've
Yeah.
heard of that. Yeah. So basically, a bunch of people kind of coming together, putting in money, and circulating it amongst each other. So the way that the pineapple model works, it kind of works off that kind of model. So what happens is with all the premiums that you pay, they essentially what happens is Pineapple takes 15% just as running costs to pay our devs and keep our lights on, etc.
Hmm.
And then there's another 15% which goes to reinsurance. So reinsurance, think of it as insurance for insurance companies. So it's basically to say like no matter what happens, if there's a
You're
claim
covered.
that you have, yeah, you're covered. then what's left of that premium is actually yours. Like it goes back into your goes back to you in the form of points basically. And what happens is, um, as claims happen on the system, they get distributed against all members of the pineapple system, of the pineapple community.
Oh.
So we work different from traditional insurance companies where they kind of collect premium, collect, and then when a claim comes, then they have to pull from all of that and pay you. But you can see from that why they wouldn't want to pay you because that's their
Right.
profit.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
you
right,
see.
right, right.
Whereas whereas on our side, we just take a fixed fee, that 15%, and well, we can't make any more cash. Like that's that. So we
Mm,
don't have an incentive, obviously, to deny on that basis. But
mm.
the nice thing is that um, you can actually stop, or you can choose, or whose claims you want to contribute to more than others by making friends and adding connections on the app. So
Oh, like can pineapple members chat with each other or on the app, or is that a function?
So it's not per se chat, it's just connecting.
Oh, okay.
So I connect with you, I send you a request to connect, and then you accept. So now we're connected, we're binded now, which means that if a claim happens, like if I claim, well, let's say
Goals.
if you, you will contribute more to my claim because you connected, and vice versa. If you claim, I'll contribute more to yours, and you
Mm,
can essentially build your circle big enough to the point where you are independent of the rest of the community, and you're only paying for the claims of everyone in your circle.
mm.
So if all of you guys are all responsible and you don't claim,
You
you
just
getting like
keep that
all your
making
money
that.
back. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Because
Another
after
thing that
12
I
months,
that
it's
I
like,
saw while I was checking out the website is the drive less, get blessed. The blessing thing is like a really South African term. So when I saw that one, I cracked up. But then I read it and like it makes sense. So your app is really, really powerful because you also have to like track people while you're driving and stuff.
yeah, yeah. So basically, when you insure your vehicle, when we give you prices, you get two prices. You get a price if you drive under 300 kilometers per month, and you get a price if you drive over 300 kilometers per month. And basically, if you drive less than 300 kilometers per month, which is if you drive less, you then get blessed, so you pay less premium, which is that's essentially the model of how that works. And yeah, it's we're able to do that, and not necessarily through the actual devices gyromatics, because sometimes your phone will be off or something, or
Right, right. Okay.
so yeah, so what happens is when you take our cover and you say you want to opt in for the program, we'll just get a tracker installed in your vehicle, and that's how we monitor everything. And then yeah,
Okay, that's like an add-on and stuff. Like if I sign up for that, do I have to pay for that tracker or I just get it?
no, you get it. It's like it's a
Wow,
part of the deal, man. Yeah.
holy shit.
Mhm. Yeah, you should be here right now.
Yeah, yeah, like cause like insuring your car, your phone, your laptop, cameras. Do you guys do that too?
Yeah, we do insure
Cause like
cameras.
when I was in Cape Town, I studied film, so I had like access to cameras, and like cameras are really expensive, but they are easily like they are small enough that it could get lost or missing or whatever. So I remember like you be in school and then you have to take the camera out, like, but you kind of have he signed on your name. The school never explicitly say that if it's lost on your watch is on you, but they gave hints.
They gave hints.
Yeah, so doing that is great. So like now I'm going to ask you like you would ask some of your mentees, what's in your plan for the next 5-10 years?
My personal plan, or
Yeah, personal first. Let's start with personal, then we get to pineapple.
um, pineapple is part of the personal plan, right?
Right.
Yeah, look, I mean, look, from my point of view, like we're trying to build a unicorn here, man. Like we need this thing to like pop. So we're really just working towards building the business. I myself also want to contribute there. I think a lot of my personal, I feel like a lot of my personal self development is in line with, the development of pineapple, and I
Mm,
want to see it succeed. Just so I can also, get that self validation of like, okay, I helped build this major thing. So that's a
mm,
very key role. Um, and yeah, look, I mean, in and amongst that, it's a journey, obviously, building up a company. I just want to make sure that I'm always still having fun. I'm always enjoying myself. I'm always learning every day. I want to make sure
mm,
that I keep improving as a person. I also just want to improve like as a leader, like leading people and working with people. I want to just become a better person as a whole so that it can just reflect in every other facet in my personal life. And I just want to keep building in that avenue, man.
mm.
Yeah.
Wow. That's I'm gonna let you go, but I need to ask this. If you're not doing what you were doing now, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't, I mean, how far do you want to take it? If I wasn't working at
Yeah,
Pineapple, if I
if
wasn't
you're not
coding, if I
doing
wasn't,
IT, pineapple, all this stuff, what would you be doing?
probably be like in the creative space somehow, like maybe like a graphic designer or yeah, let me say, yeah, probably like a graphic designer, probably doing that. Actually, actually, if I wasn't even in the creative side at all, I probably would have been like a lawyer here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know that was my second choice. I value that debate, you know, like yeah, that reasoning and finding the solution and arguing.
Oh man, Sizwe, this has been great. Thanks for sharing about yourself and about pineapple. Of course, I'm kind of jealous you guys didn't come out because, like, the closest thing kind of to you guys was my way. Is my way it's called, but like you guys are like miles away from my way, right? Because that was the thing that was interesting then. But like what you guys are building is great, and like you guys giving out pineapples to actually launch the company was great too.
Oh snap! You caught wind of that. That's dope, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
were out there doing the dirty work, bro, just on the
Yeah.
street.
Oh man, thank you so much, Caesar, for coming to the sanctuary. I'm really grateful, and I would really like to have Nicole on because I need to talk about those ads.
Absolutely. No, I'll make sure that happens. Don't you worry.
Hmm.
Don't you worry.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Israel, man. Thank you so much. And yeah.